What's hiding on the dark side of Venus? For the first time ever, scientists are studying Venus's mysterious night side and have found that it's vastly different from its day side. It takes Venus 225 days to revolve around the Sun and 243 days to fully rotate on its axis. As a result, night and day on the planet last longer than on Earth. So far, the day side has been studied extensively, but the night side has been notoriously difficult to observe until now. Venus's atmosphere consists of strong winds blowing 60 times faster than the planet's rotation. This super-rotation has been assumed to be uniform in both sides, but new data shows the winds are more chaotic and irregular on the night side. Night-side clouds formed large, wavy, filament-like patterns, not seen in day clouds, and are dominated by stationary waves, which remain still and do not move with the atmosphere. Stationary waves are thought to form specifically over steep mountainous areas, but were recently detected in the planet's southern hemisphere, an area with low elevation. The waves were likewise assumed to be rising up through the cloud from the surface, but were mysteriously missing from the lower and intermediate cloud levels. Scientists have yet to explore what this means, but will likely need to come up with new, updated models of Venus to help them figure it out. Keep watching for more space mysteries.
Can the human body survive traveling to Mars? In a recent opinion article, U.S. President Barack Obama stressed his goal of not only sending humans to Mars, but making it possible for people to stay there for extended periods of time by 2030. But the journey alone won't be an easy one. Scientists say one of the dangers of traveling to Mars is exposure to radiation. Without the protection of Earth's atmosphere, humans are vulnerable to the sun's gamma rays and hot neutrons, which can cause cancer. A shield made of lead or water, especially in the form of ice, could be used to absorb the radiation and protect the human body. Spending less time in space could also reduce the effects of radiation. During space travel, humans are also prone to osteoporosis. Astronauts in space have been recorded losing 1 to 2% of bone mass per month. That could mean 10 to 25% of skeletal mass being lost during a year-long round trip to Mars. While exercise aboard spacecrafts may help humans retain muscle and bone mass, astronauts have still been recorded losing a significant amount during travel. Other effects of space travel on the human body include changes in the circulatory system and the immune system. Meanwhile, even after humans do make it to Mars, they will still need to battle significantly lower temperatures and a thin and low-pressure atmosphere.
Pluto may be home to ice-spewing volcanoes. A probe has found evidence of cryovolcanoes on Pluto's surface, suggesting the dwarf planet may not be as inactive as scientists originally thought. When NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto on July 14th, it scanned the planet's surface and has slowly been transmitting data back to Earth. The latest images show what appear to be two ice mountains, each with a depression on top near the bottom of the planet's heart-shaped plain. The volcanoes, informally called Wright Mons and Picard Mons, are about 100 miles across and 2 and 3.5 miles high respectively. Unlike Earth volcanoes that eject lava, the structures on Pluto would likely release an icy slush containing nitrogen, ammonia and methane. Geological activity on the planet's surface indicates an internal heat source, possibly radioactive elements in its core. With only 20% of New Horizons data downlinked to Earth, scientists need to wait for the remaining pictures and data from the July encounter to confirm cryovolcanism on the dwarf planet.
Jupiter has a great cold spot, too. Scientists have long known about Jupiter's Great Red Spot, but now it looks like the great gassy planet's famous atmospheric phenomenon has got company. The curtain of light at Jupiter's north pole is called an aurora. It forms when electrons move along the planet's magnetic field and excite atmospheric gases, making them glow. Scientists believe the aurora is directly related to a great cold spot they have observed on Jupiter. The region is more than 160 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than the gas around it. It also appears to be a vortex, meaning it rotates around an axis line. The cold spot is similar in size to Jupiter's Great Red Spot and is around twice the size of the Earth. Over the past 15 years, the cold spot has changed in size and shape. It may be a weather system that waxes and wanes in relation to the intensity of the aurora. Overall, Jupiter's atmosphere has roughly the same temperature as that of Earth, despite being 5 times farther away from the Sun. The gas giant's superheated atmosphere lies in its Great Red Spot, which is a massive 10,000-mile wide hurricane with 400-mile-per-hour winds that has been raging for centuries. Jupiter's atmospheric temperatures are around 1,700 degrees Fahrenheit, but the area directly above the Great Red Spot is hundreds of degrees hotter. This suggests a link between the planet's upper and lower atmospheres, despite being separated by a vertical distance of 500 miles. The heat is likely caused by high-energy acoustic waves shooting up from the storm. The waves cause atoms in the air to move around, raising the temperature. Scientists say it was unexpected to see a weather system like the Great Cold Spot in the upper layers of Jupiter's atmosphere. It was previously thought that the temperature contrast caused by the aurora would smoothen out quickly, but it looks like the cold spot may have been there for quite some time. Light bursts seen on Earth finally explained. And no, it's not aliens. It was astronomer Carl Sagan who first noticed flashes of light on our home planet back in 1993. But the mystery of what they were would not be cracked until 24 years later. A NASA camera about 1 million miles from Earth has been capturing strange light bursts, reflecting off the planet's surface, appearing both over land and water. Researchers found more than 800 glints in images taken from the Discover spacecraft between June 2015 and August 2016, and theorized they were caused by reflected sunlight. The bursts were limited to certain spots, where the angle between the Sun and Earth is the same as the angle between Earth and the spacecraft, allowing the reflected light to be picked up. The source of the reflection appeared to be ice crystals in high-altitude cirrus clouds. Sunlight would bounce off horizontally oriented particles and create the bright flashes. With that mystery solved, the researchers are now looking to study the ice crystals, in hopes of determining whether they have an impact on how much light passes through the atmosphere. Something is making space music on the dark side of the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes.
All except a few stubborn nutjobs know that NASA astronauts landed on the moon during the 1969 Apollo 11 mission. Many of us have also seen the movie Apollo 13, in which astronaut Tom Hanks saves the day before going on to find Private Ryan. But many don't know a lot about Apollo 10, the final dress rehearsal test mission sent up before Neil Armstrong put his boots on the moon and gave us this iconic sound clip.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Apollo 10 didn't land. Its mission was to orbit the moon, and that meant going over to the dark side. For over an hour, the astronauts were invisible and inaudible to Houston as they went around the far side of the moon. But while Mission Control couldn't hear anything during that hour or so, the guys on the spacecraft heard a lot. Stuff the public is just starting to hear about since for decades, NASA's archives were classified. The Apollo 10 crew reported hearing weird sounds they likened to some kind of strange space music. The space music sounded like this, and NASA also recorded the crew's reaction.
Do you hear that whistling sound?
There's plenty of theories for this howling, weird space music. Magnetic fields, the atmosphere interfering with radios. But here's the thing. The moon doesn't have a magnetic field, and doesn't have enough atmosphere to carry sound. So, pick your theory. Some unknown boring science thing? Alien whale songs? Or maybe, just maybe, a Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders concert from Mars. We're gonna go with Ziggy. Your pick?